Here we go. Today I am creating my final original character for my newest voice playthroughs of Baldur's Gate 3. If you want to see the other character creation videos, I'll link them in the description along with Thrik's mod list. And before I get into it, a little story time of my own. I got a request to play an evil character after those new evil endings got added to the game last year, and I kind of shot it down at first because it didn't really sound fun, and honestly I didn't think I was capable. Just because even though my characters don't always have the same moral code as me or make decisions that I would make, it's easiest for me to get into the roleplay if I can find something in common with them. And I will just never understand someone who is purposefully cruel and awful. But after dealing with some purposefully cruel and awful people lately, it hit me. There's no way for me to rationalize what I consider to be evil behavior. Instead, I have to create a character who has lost all faith in people and who has such a lack of hope for the innate goodness in others that they believe the only option is to tear it all down. And with all the transphobes, the ableists, the racists, the sexists, like the people whose ignorance and narcissism is so immense that they will expend extra effort to be hurtful when being kind is so easy. You know what? Yeah, I think I can get there. In fact, I now think that this character will be a good outlet for me so that I can release some of these negative feelings I have about people like that and still keep my own empathy response intact in the real world. So, with that said, my last character will be a Dark Urge, a child of Baal, and before the events of the game, she reveled in being a Baal spawn, honoring her father by killing as many of the living garbage heaps that pollute this world as she could. Every life she took was just another little slice of Faerun that she was making a little bit brighter. Every drop of blood she spilled was washing away the filth of the world. And even though her memories will be erased, that instinct to kill and that ingrained hatred of everyone is still very much there. So I have a feeling she will get her memories back pretty quickly, because the Dark Urge has not been put into her. It is who she is. So at first, I thought of just going with the canon dirge, so keep her a Dragonborn sorcerer, but I am not really sure why the original dirge is Dragonborn, and I'd rather play a half-orc, which I think makes more sense for a Dark Urge, because they are described as creatures of intense emotion. Half-orcs are more inclined to act than contemplate, whether that's with rage or intense love, and I just think that works a lot better. Also, she will be a half-orc, so we're going to say that the non-orc half is Dragonborn. So there you go. And while the original dirge is a sorcerer, I think rogue assassin probably makes the most sense for a Baal spawn, but that is also kind of Orin's thing, so I think this other child will be less subtle with her killing, which is why I'm going barbarian. The strong embrace the wild that hides inside, keen instincts, primal physicality, and most of all, an unbridled, unquenchable rage. And also a pretty classic pairing of half-orc and barbarian. And then I'm going to probably make her a wild magic barbarian just to hint at that sorcerer origin when we get to level 3. So hinting at, but still made it our own. And then I have a couple fun mods in here. One is a deity tag activator that allows her to worship a god without being a cleric, since I do already have 2 of those. And another mod that adds back some cut content, because there once was an option to be a cleric of Baal, who is the notorious god of murder who once spread his heritage and sadistic impulses throughout all of Faerun, then resurrected himself in a horrific ritual, and his followers deliberately kill to honor their god, as she will. So I'm looking forward to seeing what new dialogue options we get with this. And I also found a pretty perfect body tattoo to fit this backstory. I did a bit of code tweaking to change the color, so it should show up black and red when we switch to female half-orc. But I'm using this mashup that has the Baal sigil and some ritual script, plus this dragon spine design to honor her Dragonborn side. And also this is the only character that I'm giving unique starting armor, since I feel like the Skull Collector look fits her better than the typical barbarian garb. Abilities and skills, I think I'll leave where they are, which takes us to voice. I'll switch the body type over. There's the red. And I think the starting female half-orc voice is perfect, so I'm gonna leave it where it is.
What was that?
Health. Something just woke up down here.
And I think I'll use my own American accent for this, maybe just drop a little lower in the register for the dialogue. I also have a feeling I'll curse a bit more often with this character. Typically I try to keep it clean, but that's gonna change, heads up. And this face I just adore because look at those arched eyebrows. I think she'll have a very expressive face. And then skin tone, we start out on sage, but there's a whole row called orcish green, so I'm definitely gonna pick from that. I think I like that. Orcish green tone 4. And I'm definitely gonna give her a scar because she was attacked before this, so I think maybe one of these fresh scars. And there's one where it's flipped to the other side, yeah. And then I'll have it heal as we get further into the game and I'll switch to a different version. And with that, I think I'll give her an eye injury. I did already have a character with red eyes, Nyx, my Loathsworn drow. Well, they started with red eyes and then it moved to pink and then purple. But I was going to try to go with a different color because of that for this character, but I just think red's going to look good, so we're going with red again. Like something a bit brighter. That's better. Aries. Good. And then on the other side, there was one in here. There are a couple in this mod that have kind of a blown out pupil. And there's one, yeah, this one with a fleck of red in there, kind of like a blood speck. So I think that's a good contrast. And for tattoo, I had this idea that even before she fully regains her memory, she will have this impulse to mark her face with the blood from her most recent kill. So rather than give her something permanent, I'm going to change to a different blood swipe design every in-game day. That is a lot of different mods, I know. I did list them all that I'm planning on using in her mod list, but since I am changing the design so frequently, if anyone ever wants to know exactly which mod the current look is coming from, just leave me a comment and I will point you to the exact one. This first one I'm starting with comes from the Take What You Need mod, and it's the Simply Tats Raven Edition version 1. And there are a lot of really great blood swipe and splatter looks in here, as well as some more tattoo looking ones, but we'll go with one of these. And then obviously change the color to blood red. Ooh. Let's start with that. Like it. Just trying to make sure it kind of matches the red on her chest. Technically, I think dried blood would be a bit more brown, but I just want to make sure it reads as blood. So, I think red 5. And the intensity is already up, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. For piercings, I have no idea. There are some ballast ones in here, but I think I'll go with something else. Maybe a septum piercing. I like those spikes. They're kind of reminiscent of the Dragonborn piercings. Oh, and some for the ears. I like it. Let's go with that. That is one thing, there actually is a guide for hybridizing races, and basically it just says pick one that is dominant and then one that is recessive. So obviously her dominant is Orc, and then recessive would be Dragonborn. So I was thinking about adding some other hints to that Dragonborn bloodline, like putting some of the Draconic bloodline sorcerer scales on her face, but again, we're going recessive, so I think the hints are enough. Also her name, which I'll get to here in a moment. And I always have to add some eyeliner. I am going with the same eye makeup that I'm using with Bakrel. And I'll add a little bit of lip tint just to make those tusks really pop. I Actually, while I wrap this up and start looking through hairstyles, let me start telling you about her name. Like I said, I wanted this to be another way that I hinted at her half-dragonborn bloodline, so I was looking through the Draconic dictionary and came across this word, Thrikomenaki, which means nameless or clanless. More pointedly, it is an insult for dragonborn expelled from their clans. And so I thought that since she had forgotten her name, that she would tell people to call her that, kind of as a way to make light of the situation that had disempowered her, where she really was expelled from her own clan, so to speak. And also it's just another way that she's messing with people to make them unknowingly say this insult, unless they know Draconic. And typically I give my characters a full name, then just call them by a nickname, except for Nyx, that was short enough. Also, I don't think they were close enough with anyone to let someone call them by a nickname, except for Star. I'm sure he called them other stuff, but anyways, I'm getting off track because of the fact that it already isn't her name, and also the word is a mouthful. I'll have her go just by the abbreviated version, Thrik. So that's where it came from. And now I'm just looking at hair. I don't want it to clip through, I almost said the shawl, the cowl in the back. I guess I don't necessarily need to go with a modded hairstyle. Oh, I forgot about these. They're like kind of goblin-esque. Definitely gonna go with one of these. I also, when we get to hair color, I had initially thought that this starting color, it's called oxblood, I think, is really pretty. Kind of brownish, reddish, purple almost. But then I remembered I used it with glow under her red and orange highlights. And why have all these colors if I'm just going to repeat stuff? But then I remembered there was a color in here that I saw forever ago and was just waiting to use it on the right character. And now is the time. It has a great name, which is what really stood out to me at first. And also, it's green. I love green, so. Ooh. Kind of fun with the bones in there. Matches her armor. Yeah. Let's go with that. And the color we want is called Swamp. Which is just great. And it's so dark. That's not it. Oh, I actually like that one too, but here it is. It's so dark green that it almost looks brown, but yeah. I'll go with the... Well, you can't really see a difference in the eyebrows, so we'll go with dark brows and lashes. I did really like these lighter colors though too. Indecision. This is about when it kicks in for me. You know what? I might have Vakrel change her hair color to a kind of pastel green at some point, so maybe I'll save it. Yeah. Go with my instinct. And that means we are done. I love it. I can't believe it took me this long to get one of the bigger body types in here. She looks great. And I already explained her name, so let's add that in here and move on to our guardian. You need a guardian. Choose one. So, as I've said a couple times now, I think that the way the Guardian looks is pretty important because they are trying to win Tav's trust. So for all my other characters, I've gone with either a relative, an ally, or a deity. But none of those are really going to work for Thrik because she hates everyone. So this time I'm making her Guardian the first person she ever killed because that was when she realized her purpose and that murder is the most valuable thing a person could do in this hellscape that is society. So it's not even that this person will be trustworthy loss-worthy this time. It's that seeing this face again will only bring back good feelings for Thrik and remind her of her purpose, so that's why she'll be more inclined to listen to them. And this is the head I decided to go with, but there are so many other head presets here that would be very fitting, especially there's one there named Amelie. Her backstory is definitely worth a read, so you should check it out by going to the Scars and Horrors mod. But I just love this Hecate face even more. It's just like so gnarly. It kind of looks like a combination of an explosion maybe, or I don't know, some other kind of terrible gouging trauma to the face. Definitely the kind of thing Thrik would do if she wanted to send someone a message. Someone recently gave me a great compliment saying that my character creation videos are cozy. So sorry that this is definitely darker. But yeah, I'm just want her to look dead. So I'm looking for a decaying kind of skin tone, but that one kind of took the red tint out of the wound there. So maybe I'll go with one of these lighter drow colors. Should it be more green? I don't know. Luckily, I'm not sure what a decaying person looks like, so I'm just going with my gut here. I do know, I'm not sure why I know this fact, but that your hair doesn't keep growing after you die. That is a myth. And the hair color doesn't change. So I do like this kind of cloudy eye, though these all have whiter scleras, so maybe I'll use a regular eye color. Don't want her to look healthy. Maybe. I think I will change her hair color and then possibly come back. Should I add eye makeup? I'm not using the unique tab version of the faces, so this is just the base game makeup. Let's go with the tear-stained one. Then I'll just turn down the intensity. And for lips, I'm thinking maybe a kind of lighter green color. And for hair, there's a style in here called macabre, which is just perfect. Also, it looks really pretty. And color, I don't think I've used... What color haven't I used yet? I guess blonde. I was going to use a blonde for Vakrel, but then I ended up going with the light pink. So we'll do like a softer blonde. And I think we'll be done after that. Oh, I have to come back to the eyes. Yeah. So let me just skip to the end then. So I'm gonna look for that hairstyle and color, and then I'll come right back. Decided to go with soft honey as the color because I like that dichotomy of nice color and name and then really terrible face. So now we're just back to eyes. I'm deciding between Kronos and... What was the color I was looking at? Oh. Okay, that's a bug I might use to my advantage here. Since I clicked on that cloudy one, it's kind of added that top layer to these other colors. Ooh, and I like that topaz with it. Maybe I'll do that. It might clear when we see her again, but hey, if it's a trick that works, then we have a nice dead-looking eye. Okay, we are officially finished with my very last character. Hopefully one of these 4 new folks piques your interest, and I'll get started with these playthroughs next week. So see you there.